For many years, the controversial discussion on college athletes being paid has been an issue for several years. It goes without saying that college athletes bring several billions of dollars into the institution that they participate in. So, why is it fair that students don't deserve to profit from that amount of money? The argument tends to be that athletes have a full ride scholarship, other benefits, as well as the popularity that it brings. But what about the other students who tend to get full ride scholarships to the same institution but still don't have the same limitations that NCAA brings, such as other students are able to get a job, participate in activities, as well as sororities or other school clubs, where athletes are limited to having only practice, school, and games. This is not only depressing for the athletes, mentally and physically, but it's draining because athletes deserve more when they are bringing such positive energy within the institution. According to Andrew Grief's article from the Oregonian, which is Oregon's newsletter, states that Oregon's football athletics revenues approximately $196 million from their athletes and their football games, as well as merchandise. In 2014, Oregon recruited one of their star players, Marcus Mariota. It is obvious that schools such as Oregon profit a lot of money from their players such as Mariota. On Amazon.com, one of Marcus Mariota's signed football goes for about approximately $200. And it goes without saying that Oregon is profiting from these type of merchandise purchases, whereas Mariota is not receiving any of that amount of money. In order for either of these schools to make this amount of money, it goes without saying that the only way they are able to make this money is due to the athletes that are participating in their sports. Without athletes, there wouldn't be enough people to fill the seats, buy the merchandise, as well as contributing to any other donations. So it goes without saying that the athletes are the main contributors when it comes to the amount of money brought into the school. The argument has always been that the athletes tend to receive full scholarship, free meals, and other benefits. But when you look more in depth of the type of benefits these athletes are receiving, it's still not equal. These athletes are bringing about several million dollars into the schools, whereas their tuition usually is only a few thousand. Even though these athletes are still being able to profit from team meals, they still need other options. For instance, most of these institutions provide about 2 to 3 meals for their athletes, but those meals usually take place within their sports facilities for team meals or the school's cafeteria. But most of these facilities tend to close approximately 9 o'clock at night, sometimes sooner. And goes without saying that it is important for these athletes to get more meals when it comes to them burning as many calories as they do throughout practice and games. It goes without saying that it is important to provide more benefits such as revenue for the athletes in order for them to have other options to maintain food or in order to get food for themselves. On the other hand, it is an important, significant rule of the NCAA that their athletes underneath their ruling are not allowed to receive any type of funding. This is really crucial for athletes because athletes are not allowed to work any type of job throughout the season. Even though the argument will be that the athletes won't have time because usually practice is about 5 a.m. to 12, school 12 to 3, and then usually practice or games or resting. But if you think about it, athletes are usually not from those states. They tend to be from all around the world. So they tend to need some type of money in order to possibly return home for break, need a car, need money for gas money, or any other type of option of food, or anything outside of what the school can provide them. It goes without saying that not having a job during the season of working underneath the NCAA is neglecting the students from not only receiving responsibilities that jobs can bring to you, but as well as the money that they could profit from that could help them in little things such as getting food, getting necessities, and other things that the NCAA and their institution cannot provide them. As stated previously, it goes without saying that as well as the NCAA and these college institutions are profiting millions of dollars from their athletes. Due to this, many coaches tend to get raises ranging from a few thousand to hundreds of thousands of dollars due to their completion of the seasons that they participated in. For instance, in the Louisville Courier-Journal, Jake Lorem states that several coaches on the Louisville football team received approximately $200,000 in raises. As though the coaches did participate in the season's completion, it also goes without saying that in order for the team to be successful, that wouldn't happen without the athletes. So how come is it okay for athletes to not receive any money, but the coaches to receive several $1,000s in raises? Steve Cameron from the Business Insider stated that the NCAA revenues about $1.1 billion in profit from their athletes. But how come is it not available for these athletes that are bringing that amount of money in? Ricky O'Donnell from SB Nation did an interview on Dick Vital about athletes being paid. And Vital had the statement that it is crucial that these athletes should be paid. Athletes such as Zion Williams, who was an athlete for Duke University, brought in millions of dollars for the institution. And luckily, he was able to go to the NBA, but while he was working and participating in the sports at Duke, he received zero part of that money. But most of the money being brought into Duke as he was a student was based on his participation within the institution, because his eligibility and talent brought a lot of money to the institution. Taking everything into consideration, it is clear that it is unfair that these athletes are not receiving any type of profit from their participation within the school's sports. Athletes work very hard to bring pride to their school, so it is only valid that these athletes receive the amount of pride that they are bringing, such as appreciation, not even a lot, just something to show that they are appreciated and deserving. Athletes bring several $million into college institutions, and the NCAA is limiting them for absolutely no reason. There are several people who work not only for the colleges, but as well as the NCAA, who are profiting from these students that deserve much more for their activities. Even though a lot of these students tend to be drafted into Major League basketball, football, and any other sport, not many tend to have that same advantage. Many students still need other benefits, and it goes without saying that the NCAA does not deserve the amount of authority to limit their athletes based on their own greedy selfishness. Athletes deserve to be paid. The discussion on how much athletes deserve to be paid is another discussion. In other words, athletes deserve to be appreciated for their hard work. Athletes deserve to profit just as much as their coaches and the people working within the NCAA.